everybody, it's Miss Michelle here, and I'm here to invite you to explore spirals in nature. I'm going to start by going out in nature, and this is a spiral I'm seeing in my own yard. I think it's a banana leaf starting to unfold. This is a banana leaf that's curled up tight, and I'm going to look at it throughout the day and watch it unfurl. This is the banana leaf in the morning, and it's just starting to open up on the bottom. Now that little flap at the bottom is gone because the whole thing has gotten just a little bit thicker as it all opens. A couple of hours later, and it looks like this. Looks a tiny bit thicker, and that flap is starting to open up, I think. Okay, you finally can see that spiral start to unfurl. Little by little, it's opening more. Okay, it's almost opened up, but I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow because it's starting to get dark. Okay, it's the next day and the spiral has unfurled. The banana leaf is fully open. Look how much that leaf has changed in just the course of 24 hours. It unfurled, the spiral undid, and then the wind shredded the leaf. Now let's take a walk around the neighborhood and see what other spirals we can find. Flowers are a great place to find spirals. There are so many in them. And look at those red ones at the center of this one I found in my yard. They're so pretty. This picture's a little blurry, but you can definitely see the spirals in this flower that's about to open up. Can you see the spirals in this new leaf that's emerging from this plant? It's almost like the banana leaf. Speaking of banana leaves, here's another one that's about to open. This is a shell that I found in my neighborhood. When we had a visitor from the Northeast Florida Archaeology Association, she could tell by looking at the shell that I must live near a river. Here are two up close. You can really see those spirals. I found this little guy living on the side of our house. Here's a spiral I found when I was taking a walk. This plant was growing wild. Let's watch how this spiral unfolds. Have you ever looked at a palm up close? Wow, that looks like something alien. Definitely has a spiral. And look, there's a spider web too. That might even have a spiral in it too. Can't really see it though. Wow, that is weird looking. Here's another one I see every day on my walk. I have no idea what it is. On a windy day, the wind pushes the water up into waves that try to curl over into a swirl shape. And here are the waves coming into the shore. I'm back a few days later on my walk, and that flower has already bloomed and is dying. And even when it's dying, it's swirling as it curls back on itself. Here's the vine from that same flower, and even the vine itself is twisting and twirling. Have you ever noticed the swirl pattern on the bottom of a pine cone? Even people have swirls. This is the swirl on the back of my husband's head. You have one too. Okay, so we know swirls are all around us. Here's one last swirl I'm going to look at before I go inside to do a little more research on these things. Hi. Okay, here we are at our website, which you can get to by going to SJCPLS.org. And from there, you go to eLibrary and then over to databases. You'll find a lot of information on our databases for school and fun and everything else. There are a lot of databases that can help with homework. I'm going to go down to the Gale Virtual Reference Library. Right here. And I'm going to do a basic search for spirals in nature. Okay, nature and numbers is the first one. And I think I will start out with that. Okay, this looks really cool. Nature and numbers. Scientists depend on numbers and mathematics to explain many of the patterns that they observe in nature. For example, scientists find the same numbers repeated in many different places in nature. Fibonacci numbers and the golden section are found in the geometry of mollusk shells and in the petal and leaf patterns of plants. Okay, cool. Let's click on Fibonacci. Let's see what that says. Oh, it's right down here. Okay, so he was Fibonacci 1175 to 1250, was an Italian mathematician credited with introducing the decimal system to Europe. Okay, I want to find out more about these special numbers. Okay, here we are right here. The Fibonacci numbers are repeatedly found in nature, particularly in plants. The number of petals on most flowers and leaves on many plants are Fibonacci numbers. For example, calla lilies have 1 petal, irises and lilies have 3 petals, buttercups, roses, and columbine have 5 petals, delphinium have 8 petals, some daisies and marigolds have 13 petals. The number of leaves on only a few plants are not Fibonacci numbers. Consider how rare 4-leaf clovers are. The center of many flowers, like sunflowers, is called the seed head, and it consists of seeds packed together in spirals. Okay, let's keep looking. So there's a special sequence to these numbers. That is really interesting. All right, I think I'm going to stop there, but that is great to know. Now I'm going to show you the similar kind of information about spirals, but in a more basic format. So let's go to the Florida Electronic Library and put in the same search terms, spirals in nature. And I was just looking at this earlier, and I found one that I thought was interesting in, let's see, National Geographic Explorer. So, nature's spirals. What do a seashell and a ram's horn have in common? It has to do with their shape. They're examples of nature's spirals. Here's the article. And it says, a spiral is a curved shape that winds around a point. Sunflower seeds, ram horns, and hurricanes all turn in spirals. So do some galaxies and seashells. Look around. You'll see spirals again and again in nature. Now I wanted to go down and look at this part that's called a number puzzle. It says spirals in nature often follow a specific number pattern. That's a set of numbers in a certain order. A man named Fibonacci wrote about the pattern around 700 years ago. Here's how it begins. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, and so on. The order may seem confusing, but here's the secret. Add 0 to 1 to get 1. Add 1 to 1 to get 2. Add 1 to 2 to get 3. Add 2 to 3 to get 5. Do you see how it works? Keep adding the last two numbers to get the next number. The string of numbers never ends. The 3 dots means you can keep adding numbers. Now I want to show you a little bit more about what you can do here. If you're doing research for school, if you look up here at the top, here it says cite. So if we click on that, it tells you how to cite the article. If you want to send it to somebody or to the Google Drive, you can, or OneDrive, you can do that. You can download up here, you can print, you can get a link. If you want to save that link to get right back to the page. And if you want, you can even see highlights and notes. There aren't any in this article, but there might be in some others. I don't like this pop-up. So you can see that our databases can be pretty helpful when you're doing research for school or if you're just looking to find out more about something. If you want to draw your own spiral, you can do it freehand just by making a small circle and making slightly larger ones every time you go around. If you want to try something more challenging, you can draw a spiral according to the Fibonacci sequence. You'll need 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 paper taped together, a ruler, a pencil, an eraser, and a compass. If you have a T-square or a triangle ruler, those are very helpful. I didn't have those though, so I'm going to just try my best with a ruler. You'll be drawing a lot of 90-degree angles in this project. That's when the horizontal line, the line that goes back and forth on the bottom, is perfectly perpendicular to the vertical line, the line that goes up and down. Start with your paper like this. I'm going to keep the Fibonacci sequence above your work so you can look at it while you're doing the project. To use the sequence, you add a number to a previous number in the sequence to get a new one. It's hard to understand, but you'll see once we get going. Start by putting a dot in this area of the paper. Next, you're going to make a square that's 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. This is what it looks like up close. Next, draw a square just to the left of your first square that's the same size, 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. This is what it looks like when you're sitting back from the 2 squares. Below your 2 small squares, you're going to draw another square that's 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters. Now you'll see the Fibonacci code in action. If you add the first 2 numbers of the code, you'll get 1 plus 1 equals 2. Now we're going to take the number 2 and add it to the previous number in the sequence, which was 1. 2 plus 1 equals 3. Our new sides are 3 centimeters. Here's our next line, and we got it by taking 3 and adding it to the previous number in the sequence, which was 2. 3 plus 2 equals 5. Now I've drawn the rest of the square with 5 centimeters on each side. Now we draw the next line, the length of which we get from adding 5, our last number, to the previous number in the sequence, which was 3. So it'll be 8 centimeters. Now draw the whole square with each side 8 centimeters long. Our next line will be 13 centimeters. We got that by adding 8 to the previous number in the sequence, which was 5. 8 plus 5 equals 13. Here's our entire square, which is 13 centimeters by 13 centimeters. Now let's get the next number by adding 13 to the previous number, which was 8. 13 plus 8 equals 21. Here's our 21 centimeter line, which we'll draw right across the top. Okay, here's your final square with 21 centimeter sides. And now it's time to take out the compass. If you've never used a compass before, this is how you do it. Put the point down in the paper, and then you're going to swing your pencil around that point without moving it. And there's your curve. Put the point of your compass right where the finger is pointing to draw your first curve, or 2 curves if you want to do it that way. Don't be afraid to pick up the compass and move yourself around or move the paper, but just make sure the point is always in that hole when you draw. This is the position your compass will be in to draw the next curve. When you're finished drawing, it should look like this. Keep drawing that curve around, keeping the point of your compass in the same place. When you're finished, it should look like this. Let's get ready to draw the next curve. Have you noticed that every time we draw a curve, the point of the compass is in the corner of a square? Here's what that curve will look like. The next curve you draw is going to look like this. And the next one like this. Okay, you're done drawing the Fibonacci sequence, also known as the golden spiral. Good job. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I want to encourage you to go out for a walk. See if you can find your own spirals in nature. Or take a look at a flower and count those petals. See if they match the numbers in the Fibonacci sequence. See you next time.